Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Shweta. She is Ginny, and we are from Guinea's Planet. And today we have Chef Michael Swamy, who is chef, food stylist, food photographer, author, and many, many things. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi Shweta, how's everything? I'm fine. You?
Thank you. Great. So it's great to have you finally on air. Your workshops with us have already started, but we've not had the opportunity to actually introduce you like this also to our audience. So thank you for being here. Maybe before we come to the workshops, let's just talk briefly about your journey. It's very intriguing that you're like a all in one kind of a person. So tell us a bit about your journey, please.
So my journey began where I wanted to make and create food films around food and television. I mean, travel. And my mother, who was a film producer, she said, "Why don't you become a chef first? Because if you're going to be talking about food, you need to be knowledgeable about it." Uh, we see today we have a lot of TV chefs who actually don't know how to cook. And I think she put me on the right track of saying become a chef first. And so uh, it was a mixture of both knowing the camera as well as knowing about the kitchen. And I started traveling at a very young age. All across India, we used to travel. Um, International travel came a little later. Uh, but my journey was one about sharing the stories, uh, taking the food to the people or taking food to the masses. It's about giving. I realized at a very early age that when you give, there's a certain enjoyment you get out of it. And when you give, you get back in return. You meet a lot of people who don't like to share, they don't like to give, and you find them very one sided. When you travel in the villages of India, you walk into any villager's home, they'll first offer you a glass of water, some tea. They're very friendly. Even though you're a stranger, they'll welcome you in. And that is the kind of people that I think we've forgotten that. We've forgotten how to be neighbors. And we've forgotten a lot of things along the way with the advancement of society. And I think this journey that we started of getting people to tell their stories, the resilient stories, is all about sharing. It's all about giving. Because it's when you share your stories, you motivate people. And when people are motivated, they in turn motivate others. So it's like a chain reaction. And so from being a chef to being an author, a food stylist, I realized that just working in the kitchen was not enough for me. It was more about connecting with my cooks, knowing where they came from, knowing what they cooked at home, talking to them. Even when I go to their villages, I make it a point to meet their parents, talk to them, learn something about their home cuisine. And that's when your cooks start respecting you more. And learned that respect is a very, very important tool in today's day and age. Uh, because you've got to be credible. You've got to be credible in your profession. Got to be credible in whatever you're doing. Even when you're giving, you've got to be credible. And I think that's a very important uh, lesson as a person that one can share with people. So that's what these workshops that we have planned about. I've planned them in such a way that anybody can stand in front of a camera and talk and talk and talk. But what is he giving back? You know, I can stand in front of a camera and cook and teach you a dish, some or two. But what if I give you the ingredients and tell you and instruct you to create something beautiful and different? That's a cooking workshop. Because just learning from me through a camera is not the ideal way of learning. You know, you might have some brilliant ideas on the other side, and I will learn from you. So you might have five ingredients and say, what can I create out of it? and then we brainstorm, and then you'll create something. So rather than my doing 2 dishes, if there are 20 participants, we end up with 40 dishes.
Right, great.
You
So,
know,
Michael, I know you already started unfolding your workshops, and the first one we've already had on photography, and then there are a few more coming on photography. But this Saturday we have one for children on cooking, and it's fireless cooking. So, is this exactly how it's going to go, or something different?
it's going to go exactly like this. I'm going to give a list of ingredients to everybody and
Hmm.
say, let's talk about the ingredient first, and let's come up with some ideas of what we can make out of it. And then they are going to make it and then present it during the workshop. Rather than me making 2 dishes with fireless cooking and then them really not, they're just watching. You're watching somebody rather than participating in the workshop. So we're going to come up with about 5 to 6 ingredients. If the participants want to add more ingredients, why not? You know, it's just about creating those ideas, building on them, and then each one presenting a dish. So that's the whole story behind also each dish that they present, their ideas, their creativity. And at the same time, if some of the same participants are there from the photography workshop, then they can take a photograph of it and also present it. You know?
Right, right. And we've had people who were in your workshop. They've already sent their homework photos to us, Michael. So we'll be posting them very soon. So yeah, a batch of photographs is already coming out. But we also have photography workshop for food bloggers, and also the one for children, a photography workshop for children, and
Right.
also food presentation workshop. So what should people expect from all these other workshops?
Uh, so from the food presentation, we are going to talk about plating styles. Uh, how do I make my food more presentable at home? Simple basic techniques of plating presentation, which I'll do through an audiovisual rather than actually doing it. So that because audiovisual, you tend to retain something, you retain a lot more. And then we can even share the same audiovisual presentation with the participants. So they take
Hmm.
home something, you know,
Hmm.
and that's
Right.
one of it. Again, with the photography workshop, I'm thinking of moving a little bit away from just food. I want to do something like people and food, you
Hmm.
know. You have photographs of people working in the fields, people work, fishermen. How do I capture these pictures when I'm traveling? You know, because these are images that tell a story. I remember, like when used to travel before, used to see these old bullock carts along the highways, and each part of the country, the shape of the bullock cart is different. The shape
Hmm.
of the boats are different. Boats of northern India and boats of southern India are different. The boats from Orissa, that side, are different. Each state, uh, there are slight artistic differences even in the shapes of the boats, the kind of designs they put on the boats. The Koli fishermen do something different on their boats. So getting people to uh, do a mixture of both food, because it's an aspect of food, and people, and we're going to talk about that. So travel photography around food.
Great, that sounds lovely. And I must prepare you for the workshop for children. The kids that are going to come in your photography workshop can be as young as 4 or 5. So because I am sure it's
Absolutely,
pretty exciting. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, great. So, moving on, this is running parallel to the Stories of Resilience campaign. Let's tell the audience what is it about. What is Stories of Resilience campaign about?
It's how do you capture a story? You can capture a story in the written word through photographs. You can tell a story by different mediums, and through videos, through pictures, through, like I said, the written word. And people during the lockdown have been, I won't say depressed, but there's a sense of what's next. what's happening. We are without jobs. We have a lot of people without jobs. A lot of people are losing their jobs. And a lot of them have taken to hobbies. They've gone into art. They are doing music. I've got a few people learning how to play music. Someone decided to just do an organic farm on their terrace. Someone decided to take up painting after 30 years. Someone started learning right after a good 30 years. And a lot of people are doing something new, out of the box, creative things. And these stories will inspire others. And I said, let's collect these stories rather than them just being anonymous. We don't want stories of famous actors and they're in the news more than enough. We want it of the common people. We want it of the children. We want it of people who are unknown. So what have they been doing during this lockdown? What creative things have they been doing? Giving people hope, hope, stories of courage. Just a general everyday story will also be fine. And that's what the campaign of resilience is all about.
Right. So, for the benefit of audience, I'll just repeat that. So, Chef Michael Swamy, Guinness Planet, and DWC, we're running this campaign together. It's basically all of us. We are looking at stories of you, people leading their lives in everyday manner, and what is it that you did in 2020? How did you create hope for yourself? Because maybe that story can create hope for others. I think that's the crux of what Chef Michael
Yeah.
Swamy is trying to capture. Yeah. And as part of this campaign, we are doing the workshops on Guinness Planet, where people from our partner NGOs and people from other walks of life, you can just book your spot and join us. Chef Michael Swamy is also helping us fundraise through these. If you look at the workshops, our partner NGOs do have free spots in those, but we're hoping that other people would pay and join because that would help us continue the work forward with all the enterprises that we do. So I would request you to look at the website for details. If you want to meet Chef Michael Swamy, he's coming on Thursdays and Saturdays, every Thursday and every Saturday now on Guinness Planet. And like I've been saying, we're not letting him leave. The Feb is all for us. So 4 to 5 p.m., catch him with us. So before we say bye-bye, Michael, is there anything that you would like to add from your side?
I'd like to add that whatever you do, make it memorable, give hope to others, and let's just make this planet a better planet. That's what I'd like to say to everyone.
Right. Thank you so much, Michael. So see you on Saturday in the workshop. Thank you so much. All right. So you heard Michael, you heard what is it that you should be expecting in all the workshops, all the fun workshops that are coming up. You know that he's planned an experience for you. So we seriously hope that you join. It'll be a great diverse group that you will meet when you join any of our workshops, because we do bring people from diverse backgrounds together. So good evening, everyone, and see you very soon. We'll be hosting you for all the workshops. Do keep track of our updates. Go to guinnessplanet.com, submit your entry in Stories of Resilience campaign, and also join us for these workshops.